Yay! I am here. What is going on, you guys? I am so excited to be here. I just got out of the shower, hence the wet hair. It's been an awesome Sunday. Taught a few yoga classes and then went to the pool and was working on my business by the pool, which is it's like one of my favorite things to do. It's so cool to be able to work from my phone and to sit at the pool while I do it. I take my office wherever my phone goes. All right, so today we have the live masterclass on how to be an intuitive eater and still survive going out, social gatherings, birthdays, weddings, baby showers, all you can eat buffets, cruises, vacations, you name it. What's out there in the real world? I'm gonna teach you something that I'm so freaking excited to bring you today that I think is really going to help you. So this training is actually this is one of the modules. This is module 3.3 in the intuitive eating paradigm, which is a 4-week, 4-module self-paced program and also an accountability and support group where I teach you the fundamentals of intuitive eating and then help you apply them, and you learn so freaking much. So I wanted to bring you guys a free bonus live training today from that program because this is summertime. 'Tis the season of weddings, 'tis the season of baby showers, of birthday parties, of vacations, you name it. And this is one of the biggest questions I get asked is like, what do I do when I go on vacation? Like, what do I do? How do I eat healthier? Or how do I stay healthier? How do I not gain weight when I, go to these parties and, when I go on a cruise and like they're serving pizza till 2 a.m. And I love talking about this because this is something that I personally struggled with because I had a lot of like guilt and shame around food, and especially being a fitness instructor, you kind of want to look the part. You want to look fit and healthy, and you want to give people advice, and you really want to walk the walk, and there's a lot of pressure as a fitness instructor to look a certain way, and so I feel like I've been going to all of these baby showers and all of these weddings, and there's so many fun summer things coming up and all these beautiful, exciting memories to be made, and there's always going to be food. Like, we can't escape the fact that we like to celebrate with food, and that's just kind of the culture here in America and in some of the other developed, countries that have an abundance of food. And the other day I talked about, on my personal page, I talked about portion distortion and how portion distortion can really kind of mess things up. So today I want to talk to you guys about how to survive these social situations and to go to these parties, go to these functions, go on vacation, and still have a good time, and for it to not always be relying on food. So I really want to touch on the fact that when I talk about intuitive eating, I think a lot of the times people get the misconception that I'm saying intuitive eaters don't eat like what a lot of people consider to be bad food or cheap food. I don't really refer to it as that anymore. I used to consider, like, I used to have like a cheat day and a cheat meal, and I would consider food bad or good. That was my old like diet mentality, and it's taken some time to reprogram my mind. So when I talk about intuitive eating and going to these parties, of course there's going to be an array of food that if you eat it in abundance, it's probably going to have not the best result for you personally, whether it gives you headaches or makes you break out, or you feel bloated, or you feel guilty or shameful for eating these types of food. So intuitive eaters still eat food that is technically not healthy, but how I teach intuitive eating is that intuitive eating is instinctual, and there's food that you're instinctually drawn to because it's natural and it's from the earth and it's whole and it's a whole food, okay? And then there's food that's chemically enhanced, packaged, processed, and made to be pretty and and looking tempting, and that type of food is what I call pleasure food, okay? So when you go to a baby shower, a bridal shower, a wedding, a cruise, a vacation, a birthday party, brunch with the girlfriends, there's going to be an option of what I call pleasure food. So pleasure food is the food that gives you pleasure. Now, pleasure and joy are two different things. Pleasure is something external, something that you have to go get that gives you a sense of pleasure, like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, going to the movies, checking your phone, eating certain types of food, shopping. These are all like pleasure, okay? Those are like pleasure. And then there is joy, and they're different. Joy is something internal. That's something you get from the thoughts that you think and the emotions you experience from the thoughts that you think. And joy is internal. It's not something that is dependent upon an external factor. So people, for example, if you've ever read the book, Man's Search for Meaning, it's about a man who was in a concentration, camp, and he talks about getting joy and finding joy in the smallest of things, and he's in the most bleak circumstances he could ever be in. And so pleasure and joy are two different things. And I do believe that our society is very much geared towards fulfilling pleasure and always seeking pleasure. And we are always looking for external sources to stimulate us, to soothe us, to console us, to excite us, to distract us, and to just constantly keep us going and, chomping at the bit. And so in a world where you're trying to, if you are somebody that's trying to lose fat, and I say lose fat instead of lose weight, because losing weight is kind of like, well, that's like your body, it's kind of like the sum total of everything. So I like to say, if you're losing fat, like if you're somebody that's looking to lose fat, can you intuitively eat at the same time? And the answer is absolutely. If anything, that's the best way to lose fat, because you're going to do it in a healthy, natural, and sustainable way. It's not going to be a means to an end mentality where you're on a diet, and then once you're off the diet, then you gain the weight back. So eating intuitively is like it's a lifestyle. So when it comes to living this intuitive lifestyle and attending these parties, what I teach in the intuitive eating paradigm is that when you're enjoying pleasure food, enjoy your pleasure food. Enjoy it for what it is. Just it's the pleasure is going to fade. It's not going to be a lasting, joyful experience. Like, I'm not still getting joy from eating a brownie I had 3 years ago. I ate the brownie, I swallowed it, and then the moment was over, right? And feeling guilt or shame about eating food ends up creating like this vicious cycle of emotions and this tug of war of like, should I, shouldn't I? Should I indulge? Should I not indulge? And then you eat the brownie, you eat the cookie, you have the pizza or whatever it is at the party, and then you feel guilty and shameful. And when you eat the food on vacation or at a party or wherever, and then you feel guilty and shameful for it, it kind of just feels crappy. Like, it doesn't even, like, it took away from the whole experience of eating it anyway. In the intuitive eating paradigm, I teach these women that instinctually your body wants healthy, natural, whole foods from the earth that can be found in nature. Instinctually, your body wants that. It's from programming as children, from our environment, all the marketing and the ads, where our brain starts to get programmed to choose desire food, to choose pleasure foods. And when we go to these parties, we go through a mixture of emotions, and most of the time we don't even realize we're going through it. Hi, Jordan. Most of the time we don't realize we're going through these emotions because we go to the party, we're excited. There's excitement of going to a party because there's going to be cake, and who doesn't love cake? And then there's going to be salty food, and who doesn't love salty food? Like whatever your craving is, like, you go to the party, you're excited that it's there. But then there's this other side of you that's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to lose fat. Like, I don't need to be eating this. Like, if I eat this, I'm going to gain weight. And then there's like all this mind chatter, right? There's all this drama going in your head about what should you do and what should you not do. And and it's like constant, and it's wedding after baby shower, after bridal shower, after vacation, and then you get home from the vacation and you feel like crap because you gained 3 pounds or 5 or whatever it is, and you get back from the wedding and you're like, oh man, I said I wasn't going to do that and I did. And then you get mad at yourself and you beat yourself up and you're saying, next time I'll do this, I'll just have more willpower. And the next time comes and you're like, well, I really want it though, like I'm really craving it. And you kind of bounce between these. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but this pretty much explains most of my life. So that's the reason I'm bringing this up today, is because I also talk to a lot of women who, come to the gym and come to my yoga classes, and they always want to know, like, what should I be eating to lose weight? And they always want to know, well, what do you do? Like, what do you eat? And one of the things I teach is it doesn't matter what I eat, because what I eat could not be very good for you. Like, I love certain types of food that are not good for other people. Like, some people, if they eat kale, will get bloated and gassy and like have a terrible experience, like me. And then there's other people who like live for kale and they just want kale with everything. And so when we go to these parties, when we approach these situations, the biggest pitfall that we all tend to trip into is that we have not decided ahead of time. And deciding ahead of time is one of the most important things that you can do, but how you decide is so important. So what I mean by this is, before you go to a party, before you go on vacation, before you go to the baby shower, bridal shower, whatever it is, before you go to any of these places, whatever it is, dinner out at a restaurant, before you go, I challenge you to ask yourself, how do I want to feel after I leave, when I get home, when it's over? When I get back from vacation, how do I want to feel? When I get home from this dinner, how do I want to feel? When I get back from this event, how do I want to feel? Ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And declare it. I want to feel energized. I want to feel strong. I want to feel confident. I want to feel focused. I want to feel clear. I want to feel sure, certain. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel confident. Whatever it is, decide what you want to feel after you get back, after the event is over, whatever it is you're going to. Then act as if. Because when you start to act as if, when you start to really embody the emotion that you want to have, you are going to change your action. The decision to the decision to feel a certain way is going to change what you do, because our thoughts create emotions and our emotions create actions or inactions, okay? So if you decide that you want to feel strong, sexy, and confident when you get home from your vacation, then who you show up as on vacation is going to be different than the woman who didn't decide at all and just kind of winged it. Because when you decide to just wing it and go on vacation and go to a party and you don't really think about what you could possibly run into, then you find yourself in a situation where you are relying on willpower. And I'll be honest, willpower is only going to get you so far. I don't know about you guys, but like, willpower is okay. Want power is a lot better. But deciding ahead of time, like truly thinking about like how you want to feel and then how you can honor that commitment and then start to act in a way that's in alignment with those emotions is going to be a game changer. I swear this works beautifully. So the next time you go on vacation, the next time you go to a party, the next time you go eat out, ask yourself, how do I want to feel when I get home? How do I want to feel when I leave? And then truly honor that. Now here's the thing. There's a really fine line between I want to feel sexy and confident and strong, and then going to the event, going to the restaurant, going to the party, the shower, the cruise, whatever it is, and then actually taking the action or not taking action, okay? So there's this moment where the action of your decision has to be solidified. This is where your commitment really shows up. And if you've experienced if you've quit on yourself a lot, and if you have given up a lot in your past, your muscle of quitting is going to be stronger than your muscle of pushing through. They're both a muscle, and the more you use one or the other, it'll strengthen, okay? So if you've quit a lot in your past on your own word and your own commitment and your goals, and you've given up, that muscle will be stronger. So when you are in this situation where you have to face a plate of food, a tray of food, a table, a beautiful setup of all this food, all these pleasure foods that truly are not going to help you get to the goal of fat loss, but your past of quitting, that muscle is stronger. This is your chance to start to build the muscle of delayed gratification. No worries, Jordan. It's all good. So delayed gratification is very different than resisting. And I'm actually kind of dipping into my next module training. So you guys are getting some golden nuggets right now. So there is a very fine line between resisting and delayed gratification. They're very different. When you guys have heard the saying, what you resist persists, right? And it's true. When you resist an emotion, it's kind of like when you were a little kid and you were or you were trying to fall asleep at night, and you were in bed and you thought you heard something scary, and your mind starts racing, and so you pull the covers over your head and you hide under the covers, right? And then you just hide and you're so scared, and you think you hear something, and then you get even more scared, and before you know it, you're paralyzed and you don't even want to take the sheets off your face, right? You're scared and paralyzed. That is a great example of resisting. Whereas delayed gratification is acknowledging what's happening and then allowing the emotion to be there without reacting to it. And then from that place of neutralizing the emotion by deciding to not react to it, you are able to respond to the emotion and experience it for what it really is, which is just a vibration in your body, and it won't kill you. And the thing about emotions is that they come and they go, and they're going to come and go for the rest of your life. When people tell me that they've fallen off the bandwagon because of a cruise, a vacation, a wedding, multiple weddings, tons of baby showers, blah, 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 the thing is, their mindset is all or nothing, their mindset is all or nothing, and they have given up so much that muscle of quitting is stronger than the muscle of delayed gratification. So there's giving into your temptation, and then there is delayed gratification, okay? So we all know when you resist like a craving, when you resist like nonstop temptation, when you go to all these weddings and these birthdays and these baby showers and all these things that are going to be tempting you, holidays, like come on, holiday season's coming up in a few months, right? So when we resist all this food that we really, really want, right? It's like holding a balloon underwater. Eventually the balloon's gotta come back up. It's the law of physics, right? And so the same thing will happen. If you constantly resist all these foods, eventually it's going to come back up. So you have a choice. You can go with resistance, indulgence, and delayed gratification, and one other option I'll speak about at the end. Now, your delayed gratification, again, is the process of neutralizing the emotion that you're feeling. So you have to know what the emotion is you're feeling. For some people, that's entitlement. They feel entitled, like, I should be able to do this. I should be able to eat this. Or maybe they feel awkward at a party and they feel like if they eat food, then it will take away from maybe feeling like they're an outsider. I mean, the list goes on and on. It could be that you're on vacation and that you always diet, and then you finally get to go on vacation, so all bets are off and you're gonna eat whatever you want. Could be that, right? So first you have to acknowledge that there is the temptation, whether you're on vacation or at a party, and then you have to acknowledge the emotion, and then you decide ahead of time. You've already decided, again, how you want to feel, because the thing is, even when you decide how you want to feel before going to the event, the party, the vacation, whatever, just because you decide it doesn't mean that the temptation of the pleasure food won't be there, because it will. The pizza, the cake, the brownies, the salty, sweet, you name it, is going to be there no matter what. Like, it's always going to be around, and pretending like it's not would be setting you up for failure. Okay, so it's always going to be there. So when you've decided how you want to feel, when the temptation comes, you acknowledge the emotion you're feeling, and then you delay the gratification. That's an option. That's a choice, right? You can delay the gratification, be with the emotion, neutralize the emotion. And remember that it's just a vibration in your body. It won't kill you. And you can let the emotion, you can move through the emotion versus resisting it, which is another option. You can resist the emotion, right? You can resist. And before you know it, you've had like 4 brownies, you blacked out, and things went crazy, okay? Then there is another option, all right? Now this option, I think, takes the most emotional intelligence when it comes around food. And if you have not practiced this, and if you have been resisting, and you are somebody that has flexed your quitting muscle more than your commitment muscle, this last option will be a lot harder. So I do think that there is a progression that is ideal to go through, because this last option is for somebody that has been truly honoring their emotions and has not allowed their emotions to get the best of them, but that they have been emotionally managing themselves. Okay, so this last option would be, you decide how you want to feel, and if that food that you want to eat is there and it doesn't affect you emotionally, it won't affect you. Like if I say, I want to feel confident, sexy, and strong, and I go to the party and they have some of my favorite food that are pleasure foods, like let's just say brownies, because that's one of my favorites, and it's there, and I say I want to feel sexy, confident, and strong, and I look at the brownies and I go, okay, is this going to affect me feeling less confident, sexy, and strong when I leave the party? And I say no, then I enjoy it. But if it's going to affect me, if I'm going to feel less confident, sexy, and strong if I eat that, then I'm not going to, because I want to honor the emotion. Like I said in the beginning of this training, if you eat a brownie and then, okay, if I eat a brownie and then I feel guilty and shameful about it, and I said I was going to honor my commitment, and now I feel guilty and shameful, the guilt and the shame don't really serve me unless I learn the lesson behind it, because guilt and shame aren't always bad. Like I said this on a live training on my Facebook page, that one time I ate an entire cake by myself, like no joke. Like I literally made a 2-tier cake, lemon, my favorite kind of cake, one of my favorites, and I ate the whole freaking thing by myself. And I remember feeling so bad, so guilty, so shameful after eating that cake. And it served me because I learned a lesson, and I asked myself the empowering questions of what's going on here? Why did I do that? What the heck happened? And I really dug deep and realized wow, I'm really lonely. I'm really unhappy. I don't have many friends. This was maybe 15 years ago. No, 10 years ago. And I remember sitting there and being wow, I literally just ate my feelings. And that experience always stands out to me because I did feel that guilt and shame. Had I not felt guilt and shame about eating an entire cake by myself, then I would continue in those habits. So guilt and shame, when you experience them and learn the lesson behind them, is not bad. When you indulge in guilt and shame after a cruise, vacation, a party, a baby shower, whatever it is, that's when it's destructive. Now, if you don't feel guilt and shame after going back on what you said you were going to do, if you said, I'm not going to, here's an example. If you said, I want to feel healthy, strong, and confident, and you go to the party or go on vacation and you don't honor that commitment, whatever it is, and you continuously do that party after party, event after event, vacation after vacation, what I know to be true from experience of, coaching myself, being coached by somebody else, and also coaching other people, is that if you continuously break your promise to yourself, usually it's a deeper belief of a self-worth issue. It's a deeper belief of what you think you're deserving of. And that is something that will show up if you have found yourself in a place where you've constantly said, I'll start Monday, I'll start next week, I'll start when the conditions of my life are better. When circumstances in my life are better, then I'll get started. Because the truth of the matter is, we will never be able to control circumstances ever, because they're not within our control. I can't control how many of my friends are getting married and having baby showers. I can't control, how many other events I'm going to go to and what kind of food people are going to bring. I can't control any of that. But what I can control is how I respond to it. So if you're in a place where you have given up on yourself many, many times in the past, and you've flexed that quitting muscle more than you flexed your commitment level. When you start to go to these parties and when you start to go to these events and when you find yourself on vacation and the food is in front of you, you really, really, really have to realize that it's like a scale. And the more that your actions start to go onto the scale, the more it's going to go down, right? So let's say that this is you giving up, and then this one is you honoring your commitment. Now, let's say that you've given up a lot in the past, and this one's heavier, right? Each time you go to a party, each time you go to a wedding, each time you go to an event, let's say that you start to commit to yourself, right? So then the scales kind of tip a little bit. And then you go to another event, you go to another birthday, you go to another party, and then they start to tip a little bit more. And then you go to another event, you go to another party, and you go to another cruise or a vacation, it starts to tip a little bit more. And then before you know it, the scales start to flip in the opposite direction. And you're flexing the muscle of committing to yourself. This also can happen much more rapid when you start to truly dig deep and figure out what the self-belief is around food, around your body, around self-worth. And there is a lot of beliefs that can be there, a lot. So, I used to have a lot, like I said, I used to have a lot of guilt and shame around food. I sometimes still do. I'm not perfect. And when I feel it, when I know it's there, I really have to stop myself and assess the whole situation from so many different perspectives, because as I teach this, I truly understand what it's like, because I used to be the person that would give up on myself. I would say next Monday, I will start next Monday. And I got into fitness so that I could hold myself accountable. I was so obsessed with fitness that I wanted to hold myself accountable. And we always want to say, I'll be better when. When the circumstances of my life change, then things will be easier. It's just not true. And it's giving your power away to something that you'll never have control over anyway. And it's almost like you're excusing yourself from living your potential of your life. And that to me is one of the hardest things to swallow, because once you take back your power, it's just it's so mind-blowing, because you really see yourself in this new light and you see what could be, and it's exciting and it's scary and it's thrilling all at the same time, because you know that you have to let go of what no longer serves you. And who you show up as when you decide what you want to feel before you get to the party and how you want to feel when you leave is going to change the actions you take. And the actions you take is going to change the results you get. So, to kind of wrap it all up, decide how you want to feel after you get back from the restaurant, after you get home from the party, when you get back from vacation. How do you want to feel when you walk off, the cruise, or when you get home and you're pulling in the driveway after dinner, or you're getting back from the wedding? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel strong? Do you want to feel healthy? Do you want to feel proud? Do you want to feel confident? What is it that you want to feel? Decide that, and then act as if. Act as if you already feel that way, because the more you tap into that energy, the more your actions are going to align to it. And you can ask yourself, okay, if I eat this, am I going to feel healthy, strong, and confident? And if the answer is no, then you know what to do. If the answer is yes, then do it. Because there's times where I'm eating this brownie isn't going to affect me emotionally. It's not going to make me feel any less confident. It's not going to make me feel any less strong. It's not going to make me feel any less sexy. I'm not going to feel guilt. I'm not going to feel shame. And guess what? I eat the brownie and I enjoy it for the moment, and then the moment's over. Because there is no amount of false pleasure in the world that'll ever give you joy, because pleasure and joy are two different things. Pleasure is external. Joy is internal. Joy comes from the thoughts you think and the emotions you experience. Pleasure comes from outside sources. And I can tell you right now, there is no amount of cookies at the party. There is no amount of cake at the party. There is no amount of endless nights of free pizza till 2 a.m. on the cruise that will give you joy. None of it. So instant gratification is like a bottomless pit that will steal your joy. Delayed gratification is different from resisting. Resisting is like holding a balloon underwater. Delayed gratification is acknowledging the emotion, neutralizing the emotion by acknowledging it, and then allowing yourself to really just be with it and then move through it by responding to it, okay? So when you respond to an emotion, you get to decide what that emotion means. You get to decide how this emotion is going to affect you, and then you can just move through it. So there's times where like I'm craving, God, I mean, you can name it. Like, okay, here's the other thing. I gotta be straight with you guys. You will never, ever, 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 ever stop craving pleasure food. You'll never stop craving pleasure food. And desire isn't bad. Desire is beautiful. Desire is innate. It's natural. It's instinct. There was a study done on rats, and the rats were given sugar water, and their dopamine receptors in their brain were actually turned off. They were blocked. And the dopamine receptors is like, dopamine's like you get a hit of dopamine, or a lot of hits of dopamine when you eat pleasure food, check your phone, shop, you name it, okay? So the dopamine receptors were turned off. They were given sugar water, and they didn't actually go back to the sugar water. They didn't eat, and they didn't have sex, and they didn't go back for the sugar water, and then they died. So having desires isn't bad, but whether you instantly gratify your desire or you delay that gratification, depending on if it's going to move you closer to the goal you have and the person you want to be, that's the defining difference, okay? So decide how you want to feel before you go. Honor that. Choose and stay with the action. Commit to yourself. Start to build that commitment muscle. If you have given up on yourself and you continuously give up on yourself, and you are looking for deeper coaching and you are looking for more clarity on what beliefs you need to change, you can reach out to me. And if you are somebody that you really have struggled with giving up on yourself and quitting in the past, and you really want to build that muscle, just know that there is no escaping the work. Like, things don't get easier. They really don't. You really truly get stronger. It's cliche. It's a Pinterest quote, I'm sure, on a mug somewhere. This work does not get easier. You get stronger. The desires, the temptation, it will always be there. But how you respond and how you show up and who you show up as is going to make all the difference. All of the difference. So, live your life. Love your life. Decide how you want to feel. Act as if. Delay gratification. And if it doesn't affect you negatively, enjoy the damn cookie. Okay? All right, so if you enjoyed this training, we dive so much deeper into all of this in the intuitive eating paradigm. We talk about pleasure food, about fuel food. We talk about body beliefs. We talk about past programming. We're going to talk about cravings in our next module. We're also going to talk about hormones. I mean, we cover a lot of good stuff in the intuitive eating paradigm. I'm like, literally, this program is so good. I wish I had this program years ago, but I'm so glad I created it, and I love it. So if you are looking to do deeper work when it comes to intuitive eating, you're sick of dieting, you're sick of the diet mentality, you're over the means to an end, you're sick of going up and down in your weight, if you truly want to lose fat naturally without having to diet, like, this program is going to help you. This is the lifestyle that is sustainable and is healthy and is going to truly help you live your life so that you are not obsessed with food. You are not obsessed with how much you weigh all the time. Like, it is not your life's work to lose weight. It's not. It's truly not. Your life is so much more than that. And why do we try to constantly lose weight? Like, let's just lose the unnecessary fat, and then let's just keep it off, and let's just enjoy life. Like, let's do it, okay? So if you're interested in the intuitive eating paradigm and you want to do deeper work around all of this, then send me a message. And we start August 15th, so you're going to see me talk a lot more about it over the next few weeks. And there's also the intuitive eating ebook, and that is live on my website. If you're interested, I will post the link. Jordan, thank you for jumping on. I'm glad you thought it was good. If you guys are watching and catching the replay, just say hi, interact as if you're already here, okay? And if you have questions, just let me know. Bye, guys.